Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are playing more PioFiore. Today's video is full of those good CGs from the Gilbert Redford route. Gil fans, we ate good today. You can watch me play live at twitch.tv/Pinker NeonNova. Enjoy the video. Now, it's been a while since we've returned here. We're still on chapter 4. We're about to go into the casino to see what's going on with the counterfeiting case. I'm going to turn the game volume up just a tiny bit. It was my first time seeing the place in all its splendor. The lights were dazzling. Are you nervous? Yes. The last time I was here, I didn't actually see the inside. Are you sure I don't look strange? You look fine. What's the matter? Maybe just a little bit lower so I'm not fighting Gil and his amazing voice acting to talk over him. It's just, I have a feeling that everyone's staring at me. You're right. It's because you're so beautiful that they're mesmerized by you. Stop flirting with me. Don't, though. Gil spoke such words seriously, and I had no words to say. The table written on the invitation is that way. Let's go, Signorina. The table mentioned on the invitation was a roulette table. There was already one man standing there gambling. Ha ha ha, I win again. Turning these chips into money is going to be some job. Oh, no dollars, okay? I want lira. The man already had mountains of chips beside him. Without any hesitation, Gil walked over to the table and smiled at the man. You sure are lucky tonight. What a big win. You a tourist? I never seen you around here. Well, yeah. Are you a local? Yeah, but man, to be able to win this much, you must be a hell of a lucky man, or... What you had inside that wallet was already hefty to begin with. I wonder which it was. Ha ha ha! It's luck, all luck. What do you say? Want a shot at it? With an invitation like that, how can I refuse? Sir, I'm sorry to inform you, but this is a private table. Gil gave a slightly cold smile and silently placed the crisp $10 bill on the table. The dealer gasped and stared at Gil. He finally seemed to realize who he was speaking to. I'm a customer too. Is that a problem? Not at all. I apologize. The dealer took the bill from the table and gave him $10 worth of chips. Huh? The man seemed to have picked up on the change in atmosphere and looked confused. Gil kept smiling and resumed speaking to the man. Hey, since we're here and all, why don't we bet something besides chips? Besides chips? I mean, fate brought us together tonight, right? If I win, why don't you give me your business card? Well, that's...
You're obviously a lucky guy. Can't blame me for wanting to talk to you, right?
I love Gilbert. Look at him. Look at his little face.
Right? Nope, wrong voice. Right. I see your point. Are you proposing we do business? I should hope you're not simply looking for investors. Well, something like that.
The man glanced at the dealer, who gave a faint nod.
Very well, then. I suppose my business card is nothing. If you win, it's yours, and I will hear what you have to say. That sure is generous of you. Ha ha ha. But are you a match for me tonight?
Don't try to dom my man. That's my job. That's my job, bitch.
To be honest, I'm a pretty lucky guy myself. But just a moment. We haven't discussed the terms of my victory. What will you give me if I win? I honestly have no interest in you.
That's rude. Look at how interesting my man is. Well dressed, snazzy. He's got an eye patch. He's so interesting.
What indeed? How about this? Those chips you earned tonight, I'll pay you 5 times what they're worth. What? Not enough? I suppose that'll do. But I haven't lost yet. I could win my own chips anyways, don't you think? Then, what do you want? Tell me. Well, how do I put it?
Don't you dare ask for me. I'll murder this man in cold blood. I dated Yang.
The woman is with you, right? I wouldn't mind having her by my side. Huh? Don't tell me you're expecting me to gamble away a woman. Well then, suit yourself. We'll pretend this bet never happened.
Gil bitterly furrowed his brow at the man's proposal. I don't mind. I very much mind. It's okay. If my man loses, I'll just stab this man.
What? Hold on a minute. No way. I can't get you involved.
But you're going to win, right, Gil? Gil, you're confident that you'll win. That's why you made a bet with him, right? In that case, I'm going to bet on you. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Yang gave me a knife.
Are you sure about this?
Gil's eyes surprisingly had a trace of doubt.
Are you going to do it or not? Hurry up. The dealer is waiting. Make up your mind.
Shut up. I'll do it.
Oh ho? Well, that's exciting.
Shut up. I answered the man who was rushing us, and his grin deepened.
Seems like the deal's on. Let's get started. When the man confirmed, the dealer rang the bell to close the table. I'll bet on black. Are you sure about that? I've made this much tonight. Now I'm playing for fun. I don't mind if you aim high. Then I'll go for red. I'm not after the money anyway. Very well. Just as the man was about to twist the knob, however, Gil relentlessly twisted the dealer's arm up. No funny business. I'll spin the roulette. The man and the dealer had shocked expressions on their face. Please don't. Even if it's you, it's against the casino rules. The panicked dealer tried to stop Gil. Let him do as he pleases. Hi, director. You're so handsome. The masked man, the director, suddenly made an appearance. What? But, director. The dealer was clearly in distress, but the director seemed to be having fun. This is also entertaining, just as Lady Luck decides, truly befitting of our humble establishment. Grazie, director. Stop flirting with other people in front of me, Gilbert. But don't, really. Gil thanked the director with a mischievous smile. Is such a thing permitted? Sure. Really? What proof do I have that this man isn't a cheat? Seems I haven't introduced myself. I'm Gilbert Redford. Redford? Don't tell me. The Viscontis. The very one. So you've heard. I'm that Redford. I'm the mafia in this town. I would never make gambling my business. I swear on my pride and my family name, I won't stoop as low as cheating. Ow! Ow! Yes! The man was speechless, with his eyes wide. Without another glance at him, Gil turned to me and whispered, I'm spinning it, Pink. Are you ready? Yes, I am. Gil spun the roulette and threw it in the ball. The ball clattered around as we watched, and eventually stopped. Unable to bring myself to look, I couldn't help but shut my eyes tight. The result was red. 7 red. What's going on? I was supposed to win tonight's game. This is cheating. Do you have evidence of that? Just because you cheat doesn't mean everyone else does. No, I mean, you were cheating. I said I wouldn't. Are you doubting me? The boss of the Visconti? The man couldn't respond, and his face twisted in anger. I sighed with relief. Thank you, Gil. Why are you thanking me? In fact, I should apologize to you.
Gil smiled kindly at me and apologized. Then he reached out his hand to the man holding his head.
As agreed, you're going to tell me your name.
The man seemed to have given up. He put his hand in his pocket and handed Gil a business card. Gil took the card, looked it over briefly, then handed it to me. I took the card and looked at it. The face of the card read Giuseppe Mondigali. Yeah, sure.
I'm here on holiday. I'll have to ask you to refrain from unnecessary investigation.
Of course. Apologies for disturbing you. All right, let's go home. Are you sure? Yeah, we had plenty of fun. Did we? After we left the casino and walked a little, Gil spoke with a serious expression. The person who dropped the invitation was probably that man from earlier. What do you think? I think you're right. He had so many chips piled up next to him on the table, after all.
Yeah.
And the dealer was his accomplice. Business entertainment gambling, huh? But if you win that much money, wouldn't the director and the other staff notice?
I think so too. But no one said a thing. In other words, all this cheating is facilitated by the casino. The dealer saw the counterfeit bill I gave him and offered me chips. All in all, I'd say there's no mistake that the casino's involved in this whole thing.
The casino, the director! Why you being bad, mister? I had one question. Gil, isn't this a state-organized casino? Could you do such a thing without the government knowing?
I don't know. But this incident may be tied to someone a lot bigger than we originally thought.
Gil glanced over at the casino, then returned his gaze to me.
I don't know the relationship between the casino and the culprit, but regardless, it's too dangerous to hold future meetings at the casino. Information could be leaked.
Gil thought about it more seriously and eventually spoke up again.
But what to do? Where should we meet from now on?
Do you think it should be in Arca?
Yeah. Otherwise, inviting others to your place would put you at an advantage. If they set up the round table at the Falzone Manor, I'd disagree. I'd tell them to come over to my place. Then I'm sure Dante and Yang would feel the same.
Despite their agreement, they weren't truly friends. Especially coming from Gil, who waltzed into other people's homes without concern. He made me aware of the reality. Then, what about the church?
The church?
The church is closed at night. You should be able to talk without any interruptions.
No, it'd be inappropriate to talk about those bloody things in the church.
Gil had a strong sense of faith, and seemed to question the notion. God won't mind. The church is home to people in need. I'm sure God understands that in difficult times, you can't help but depend on the church. That's why I think it'll be okay. God won't mind. Gil blinked his eyes in amazement and looked at me with a peaceful smile. I guess you have a point. Then? Yeah, geez. You're some woman. You know that? Maybe you have more guts than I do. You could... Nope. I'm not gonna say it. You could get up in my guts. Said it anyways. I'm the worst. I'd appreciate it if we could use the church. Could you negotiate with the sister for me? Sure. Thinking I could help the town made me happy. Despite the circumstances, I found my voice sounding giddy. There was so much we didn't know, but we were definitely moving forward. We're approaching the truth one step at a time. Even in the darkness, we still hadn't lost our light. That was how I felt. Chapter 5! Yay! We did it! Hooray! This time of night, most of Arca was asleep. Only a few stragglers remained outside. We should be good now. I've locked the doors. With the doors closed behind me, I faced the 5 men who gathered at the church. So this is the house of God. How fascinating that I would step foot in such a place at all. Hi, Yang! Why are you so pretty? Stop it. You've called us here to the church, of all places. What's going on? Explain yourself. Now, I was just about to. I've obviously called you here for a legitimate reason. After Gale finished telling them about the casino, everyone seemed to make sense of the situation. Dante's brow was furrowed as he considered this new information. On the other hand, Yang seemed to find the story amusing. He had a smile on his face. I looked into our friend from out of town. It turns out he's on the lower rung of the Ministry of Finance. I can read. Oh my god. There's also talk that he was once involved in the currency union. The currency union? Haven't they practically disbanded? I'm sorry, but what's the currency union? Right. The term would be largely unfamiliar to those living an ordinary life. Will you be explaining it in excruciating detail? How very generous of you. Be meaner. Be meaner. I'm okay. She is very much involved in this situation. Additionally, she offered to make the church available to us. She has the right to know what's going on. Thank you, Dante. Dante cleared his throat, then continued. The currency union was established to unify countries under a single monetary policy.
and to tie the value of currency across multiple countries with the aim of facilitating cross-border trade. It was formed some 60 years ago, but due to a number of reasons, it didn't work out. As I said earlier, in the aftermath of the Great War, it barely serves a function now. I'm not going to be able to keep track of 6 voices. I'm trying. I believe the church participated in that as well. The church? That's news to me. It was half a century ago. The financial manager of the church had overproduced poor quality silver coins, and as a result was kicked out of the union. Gil looked down at nowhere in particular. After a moment's thought, he spoke again. I reckon if the unions move now, the church would know nothing about it. I reckon if the unions move now, the church would know nothing about it. Given that the currency union is being discussed, we might consider the possibility that multiple countries are involved. Perhaps even the military police were so keen on arresting Redford. Are you saying it's not just one guy, but a whole organization? This is going to be a problem. The air grew heavy. There was little else we could talk about that wasn't speculation. Unable to come up with a plan to resolve the issue, the night's meeting ended there. You got a minute? After the others left the church, Gil stopped me. I don't know why you're stopping me, Gil. I'm going home with you. We live together. Seeing as we can't use the casino anymore, it'd be a great help if we could stay here. That is, if it's not too much trouble. Sure. Leave it to me, Gil. I nodded, happy that there was something I could do to help. Gilbert Redford. It was midnight. After everyone left the lounge, I drank while gathering my thoughts. As the counterfeit money issue grew hazy, the image of Pink emerged. When someone's in trouble, I can't just let them be. I invited her here to the manor to protect her. Naturally, I'd treat any lovely Signorina well, but I also felt it was my duty to escort her around town, but I can't stop remembering how she let us borrow the church tonight, how she took interest in my guns, his guns, and even how she accepted being the object of my bet. The ice glimmered as it melted into the amber liquid. Our activities together made it clear how strong-willed she was. She could read a situation and look beyond the moment. Yet, there's something that she's missing. Even though I was mafia, she believed me so readily. I could sense her opening up to me. If I were to put it into words, I just can't take my eyes off of her. It had been a while since I felt this way. He's in love with me. But she was a girl of the church. A woman. I'm a woman of the church. I promised that I'd protect her. I can't take advantage of this situation. As I muttered that, I felt myself smile inside. The feelings that were starting to form inside me seemed pretty fun to face head on.
Gilbert loves me. A week had passed since the meeting at the church, and I welcomed another morning at the Visconti Manor.
I don't need breakfast. I have a mountain of things to do. I don't have time to eat.
Oliver came to the lounge at breakfast, his eyes still on his documents as he spoke quickly about how busy he was. But Oliver, if you have so much to do, it's even more important that you replenish your energy.
But
if something were to happen to you, Gil would be in trouble. Please, for Gil's sake. If you can't eat anything, at least drink something. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, we can do it.
Fine. Perhaps I could eat some roasted potatoes.
That's great. Let me go tell the kitchen staff. Guess Oliver's weak against her too. I didn't expect to see that.
Leo laughed as Oliver glared at him, annoyed.
Oh, Leo, you shouldn't be such a picky eater. Finish up your meal.
What are you talking about?
You've left all your vegetables, haven't you?
Oh.
If you only eat meat and fish, your nutrition will be unbalanced. It's best to eat some vegetables too. I know it's none of my business, though.
Well, I am an adult, but I guess it's time for me to be able to eat all my vegetables.
Everyone's weak to me. I'm the best. Really? Well then, you can do it, Leo. I'm rooting for you.
Okay.
Gil was watching us with a smile. I looked back at him curiously. What is it, Gil? Did something happen?
Nothing. I was just thinking this was good.
Huh?
It's great that you treat everyone the same. You don't shrink back from an intimidating guy like Oliver, and you can also look after a troublesome one like Leo. You were like that in Storano too, and also with Luca.
Whoop. Then, would you say I act the same way towards you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is it okay? Or am I too much?
I'm saying you're just right.
Yeah, I am. Gil had the biggest smile as he said that, and I felt my heart jump. Yay!
For me, I'd rather you be yourself around me instead of feeling nervous. I hope I'm stumbling my way into the good end of this route because it's so good, and we deserve to get a good end off the bat for one of these routes. Damn it! I get so many tragic ends. First attempts.
So,
You're okay with me being like this? Gil smiled in response. This time, I clearly felt my heart beating faster in response. Whether it's because you grew up at the church or if you were just born this way. Either way, I think it's a rare thing to be. Thank you. He gave me such praise that I couldn't help but blush and thank him. I'm just speaking my mind. Nothing to thank me for. I'm gonna cover your face in kisses. Anyways, once breakfast is done, I was planning to go out again. I have to go to the Falzones today too. Oh, today's the day you report to Dante. Leo walked with us practically every day, but once every few days he went to the Falzone Manor to report to Dante. Roger. Send my regards to Dante. So then, where should we go today? Today... I wonder if there have been any changes in Krita lately. Krita shopping district drew many tourists. There were a few shops that accepted other currencies besides Lyra. I hope the counterfeit money hasn't made a negative impact. Alright, got it. Let's go check in on Krita today. After we were done eating breakfast, we set out to see Krita. As usual, the streets were bustling. Another nice day. Maybe I didn't need to be so concerned. There's nothing better than nothing bad happening. Since we're here, you want to have some gelato? That's fine, but... Just then I stopped. Say, Gil, do you hear something? I don't hear anything. I thought I just heard a child's voice. I looked around. Ah! I saw a little girl crouched on the side of the road crying. I rushed over to her and knelt down to her eye level. Are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? Crying, the girl shook her head. So you're not in pain? Did you come here alone, or are you with someone? The girl was trying her best to talk to me through great sobs, and I listened carefully. As I listened, I discovered she was shopping with her parents when she suddenly lost them. Hey, you guys, have you seen this girl before? No, I've never seen her. I don't recall seeing her often. Maybe she's not from around here? I'm Pink. This is Gil. What's your name? I'm Sarah. Sarah? What a beautiful name. Sarah, do you know where you live? By the sea. Do you know what your house looks like? I think so. Gil kindly patted Sarah's head and gave her a confident smile. It'll be fine. I promise we'll find your parents. Okay. If Sarah's parents come looking for her, could you tell her we're taking her home? Could you tell them we're taking her home? Oh, we can definitely do that. Anything for you, Gil. I'll be sure to tell the others too. The people of Krita agreed,
and Gil thanked them with a smile. In the meantime, Sarah took the hands we offered her and slowly got up. So, Sarah, what flavor of gelato do you like? Huh? Chocolate or lemon? Orange and strawberry are good too. Chocolate. That's my favorite too. There's a gelato shop nearby. Why don't we stop by for a bit? Haha, we made we made Kill buy her gelato. Here you go. I offered the chocolate gelato to Sarah. She timidly accepted. It's tasty. As she took another taste of the gelato, she giggled. Oh, what a relief. She seems to have calmed down a bit. Gil and I looked at one another and nodded, sighing with relief. It's my real husband, Marco.
What are you doing with the kid? Is she lost?
Oh, Marco, buongiorno.
We were just taking a stroll. It's nice to walk once in a while, wouldn't you say? Need a hand? I can take her to the station, and we'll handle the rest.
But you're busy too, right, Marco?
Well, I guess that's true. But it's a cop's job to find the parents of a lost kid. Marco, why don't you let us handle this one? I've promised this girl that I'd find her mother. I have to honor a promise I made on my name and pride. Isn't that right? You have a point there.
Marco seemed to understand where he was coming from. He smiled and nodded.
If her parents come looking for her at the station, tell them that Sarah's safe. We're going to go look for her place along the beach. If we're in the area, maybe we'll bump into her parents there. Got it. Then I'm going to go back to the station.
Marco laughed and turned his back towards us before walking off. But suddenly he stopped. He lowered his voice and asked Gil.
About the case. Have you heard anything?
In a way.
I see.
He closed his eyes for a moment, thinking. He opened them again and continued.
Sorry, Gilbert. This case just seems fishy. I want to do what I can to help you. But a person at the bottom of the chain like me can't get much intel. Don't worry about it. If you lend us a hand, I'm sure it'll threaten your position too. What happens in the family will be handled by the family. That's how we do things.
Silent, Marco smiled faintly. He then looked over at me.
It was good to see you.
You look well. I'm glad. I'll see you later. Bye, Marco. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Yes. See you later, Marco. This time, Marco really left. I waved a hand at him as he walked off. We got closer to the beach as we looked for Sarah's parents. Every once in a while, we asked Sarah if she recognized the area. As we continued on our way, Sarah! Mama! A lady was running towards us. Sarah ran to her and leapt into her arms. Oh, Sarah, thank God. The woman called Sarah's name and held her tight. I'm so glad she found her mother. Well, now that's a burden off our backs. I smiled with a sigh of relief, and Gil did as well. The lady looked up, noticing Gil. Her eyes grew wide. Oh, you're... Thank you so much, Signor Redford. I didn't do anything. Actually, Sarah here gave us a mighty fine tour of the area. A high-pitched screech cut off Gil's words. We turned towards the commotion. There was a man yelling and swinging his knife around erratically. Money, money. Give me money. I need caramella. What is it? Sarah's mother turned her body, shielding Sarah from view. I've seen that man before. Damn it. The man slammed the door shut as he let out a grunt of frustration as he stormed off. He's not from the Visconti, is he? I wonder what happened. Is that the same man who came out of Gil's office? It must be with the It must be with the withdrawals. He looks like he's gone out of his mind. Gil took a few steps forward, but with the man swinging his knife around, it wasn't easy to close the distance. Gil! Why are you just out here shooting people? Raising his gun, Gil took a shot that pierced right through the man's leg. The man cried out, rolling onto the floor. We're outside, it's the ground. Damn it. Who did that? Who shot me? Perhaps he had been brought back to sobriety by the pain, but when he realized the man was Gil, his eyes went wide. Gilbert Redford, what are you doing here? I dropped the controller. I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at things, y'all. Back. Damn it. If you hadn't hired me, I would have been. This wouldn't have been. Not to sound full of myself, but I'm good at seeing through people. I don't need an addict as part of my family. I told you so back then, too. Damn, Gil. Damn it. Dragging himself onto his feet, the man gripped his knife and went to charge at Gil. Ooh, we get in a fight scene? And by a fight scene, I mean I get to read really fast at you. Because that's how we read action scenes. Boop. Once again, Gil shot his gun and blasted the man's knife away. Is that a euphemism? Damn. He seemed to lose the will to fight and sat back down on the ground.
What's going on here? Who fired that gun? Following the commotion, Roberto appeared along with several policemen. Roberto! You are a man who knows something fishy is going on with the police investigation. And you've been thinking about talking to Gil anyways. Are you going to talk to our man? Maybe? Roberto saw Gil holding a gun, and his brow furrowed. Or did I get my man in trouble by picking to go here? Sorry, I'm also petting my cat at the same time. That's why I keep looking to the side. That man was gonna hurt someone. So Gil came and stopped him. Yeah, little girl. Coming in clutch. Hearing Sarah, Roberto fell silent for a moment, then gave orders to the officer next to him. The officers arrested the man on the ground and swiftly left the area. After watching them leave, Roberto turned to Gil and spoke begrudgingly. I must thank you for protecting the civilians, though I can't say I enjoy thanking the mafia. Stop being a tightwad. You know, if you let him, Gil will take care of that for you. Like I said, buy for buy route. Like I said, every Otome game I play is buy for buy route. Baby, why are you being so needy? You're so cute today. Adorable. Smoochy baby. Okay. Haha. No need to be so formal. We're on the same team. Aren't we? Are you on the same team? Team love the main character? Team protect Berlone? Same team, same team. Ow. Ow. Stop it. Okay. The same. You and I both live in this town. We live to protect it. There we go. Okay, I'm done letting the cat distract me, I promise. Sometimes I come to the rescue, and other times you do. Wouldn't you say? Damn it, Marco. Huh? Roberto looked very stern for a while, but suddenly spoke. You're from America, aren't you? Yeah, Chicago. Why do you ask? Most of your business partners must be American. Do you mainly use the dollar for trade? Yeah, that's right. This is just me talking to myself. Roberto looked away from Gil and continued with a serious expression. If there were a culprit other than you, I'm certain they'd think you were in their way. In order to distribute counterfeits quickly, they'd need to have a large deal. For example, a deal so big that the mafia would be in charge of it. The quality of the counterfeits circulating now is high. Even after the truth comes to light, they'd still walk away with considerable profit. After defeating the Visconti and securing their deal, they'd once again distribute counterfeit bills when the coast is clear. That's the way criminals think. Roberto, you. I told you, I'm just talking to myself. I have nothing to tell the mafia. You know, it almost makes up for how brutal he is in Nicola's route. Almost. He spoke with finality, then glanced over at me. There's nothing to be gained by staying with him. I suggest you hurry and cut your ties while you're ahead. We will provide you with protection anytime. So, if something happens, come to the station immediately. Understood. With that, he swiftly turned around and left with the remaining policemen. Grazie, Roberto. Gil spoke the words to Roberto's back. Roberto reacted faintly for a second, but didn't turn around, and instead continued to walk off. We were on our way home. As we approached the Visconti Manor, the clouds merged and the sky began to fall, and rain began to fall from the skies. I can read, y'all. We ran under the eaves of the nearby house and looked up at the gray sky. That came out of nowhere. Let's stay under here a while. Someone will notice and send a car over. Oops, sorry about that. Maybe it'll clear up quickly. I think it's just a shower. You may be right. Are you cold? You look drenched. No. You've shielded me from most of it. I'm sure this will dry out soon. The rain was quite strong. It pounded against the stone road with a heavy sound. Engulfed by the seemingly endless rain, I suddenly had a strange feeling. It feels like we've been cut off from the rest of the world. Hey, Pink, do you have a minute? We're standing right beside each other. Yes. Sure. What is it? I haven't had the opportunity to give this to you. He took something out of his pocket. It was a small velvet box. What is this? Pretty earrings. He opened it up to reveal sparkling red gems. They were pretty antique earrings. A token of my appreciation. Please accept it. Huh? Wait, but I haven't done anything to deserve thanks. I can't accept something so expensive. Gil is always taking care of me. I'm the one who needs to thank him. No. Remember back at the casino? You put all your trust in me.
I did. I did do that. It was about 30 minutes ago.
You put yourself at risk. If you hadn't been there, a bet wouldn't have happened to begin with. And I wouldn't have been able to follow that thread to the currency union, right? Gil squinted mischievously and spoke in a quiet tone, sweeter than usual. I'm not exaggerating. You were pretty impressive back there. I mean it. So I want you to accept this.
Oh, Gil. I'll accept whatever you give me. Gil. It felt rude to reject his gratitude, so after thinking for a moment, I nodded.
Then I'll put them on you. Don't move, okay? Stop, we're being fed today. I bought this the day after, but we've been so busy since then.
You got this for me that long ago? Gil's face was so close. I felt my heart pounding as I recalled the past few days. It's true, we've been busy lately, but we've seen each other every day.
Well, I guess. We didn't have much time to talk, just the two of us, you know? After some time passed, bringing it up seemed so out of place, so I kept it in my pocket all this time.
I never expected you to be like that.
I'm just another man, after all. Being a mafia boss means nothing. Damn it. I can't get these on well.
Seemed like Gil was having trouble. As he struggled with the clasps, his fingers tickled my ears. I felt my heart pounding, and I began to feel restless. I didn't know where to set my gaze. Say, Gil, can I ask you something? Your eye, it's always hidden. Is it? I said that much and stopped myself. I was simply curious, but suddenly realized that he may not want to talk about it. I regretted being so thoughtless. I couldn't exactly change the subject and fell silent. By then, Gil had finished putting the earrings on me. Thank you, Gil.
No, I'm the one that's thankful. Do you like it?
Yes, I'm very happy. I'll take good care of them. I smiled, and Gil seemed to be happy as well.
Oh, and about my eye.
What's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret?
It's not an interesting story, okay? I've just always had a bad left eye. Seeing with both eyes was tiring, and because I couldn't focus, I couldn't use my gun either. But my right eye is better than the average person's, so it's easier to see with one eye.
Okay. So instead of having
Yeah, that makes sense. So instead of having to make the other one compensate. Yeah, that makes sense. I can't explain it, but it makes sense in my head. I see. I nodded and Gil continued. Supposedly, creatures use both eyes to grasp distance. That's something that's beyond me. But for guns, if the aim's accurate, it'll hit. Distance doesn't matter. That's not true. Maybe that's why I like guns. I feel like they suit me. He stopped talking, then looked at the glittering red earrings. I'm no good at intricate work like this. Using only the exact amount of power I need. Well, I guess that's more a personality thing. He likes to go all out, baby. He's gonna take it to Pound Town one of these days. Okay. This is a very sweet moment, and I just ruined it. Gil spoke jokingly, and I couldn't help but laugh. Okay. Must be a hard worker. Gil. Hard worker. Why do you say that? Even with your left eye hidden, you're very powerful. You don't let it hold you back. Although it was a hindrance, he still lived his daily life like any other person. I think it's because you've been working hard all these years. Thank you for telling me about your eye. I'm glad you shared it with me. If you were going to thank me for opening up, I should have told you a lot sooner, huh? Was it okay for me to ask? Yeah. I mean, it's something between you and me, right? I wasn't sure why, but that statement made me a bit happy. You've gone quiet. What's the matter? Did I say something weird? No, you're so cute. Look at you. Oh my god. No, not at all. I wanted to know more about you, but I was worried that by asking I would offend you. So when you told me it was okay for me to ask, it made me really happy. I smiled shyly, and Gil looked at me with his eyes a bit squinted. Then, would you listen to one last story? I will listen to every story you tell me, sir. Yes? The reason my left eye is weak is because of an injury I had as a kid. Injury? I was born in America. My father was a low-level guy in the Chicago Mafia. He was a scumbag and a drunk. Whenever he'd have too much to drink, he'd take it out on my mother. He hated how I always protected her. So one day he hit me with a bottle and it broke. Oh, baby! And a piece went into my eye. Ooh. In the end, my vision deteriorated and it never came back. Even now, I can only see the light. Gil bit his lip with an expression that wasn't like him, then smiled faintly. Shortly after my dad died, I moved with my mother back to her hometown, this town. By then, people who weren't fond of the Falzone and their policy of being pure-blooded had already led to the Visconti. So they already built the foundation to welcome outsiders. All I had to do was work my way up from there. Gil was always bright and always smiling. People in the town loved his easygoing nature. But the Gil I saw now, I've never seen Gil like this before. There were shadows in the depth of his eyes, and they gave, and as he gave a melancholy smile, I felt my heart ache. Gil, I'm sorry. I should apologize. Sorry for all that. I was being selfish. I knew it was only trouble. It would only trouble you, but I wanted you to hear it. My vision of him blurred as he looked at me. He whispered as if telling me a secret. I've never told anyone that story before, not even those closest to me. Do you know why I told you? His whisper made my heart tremble, and I couldn't take my eyes off of him. I saw a fire burning in his eye, and a heat that I did not know. We stared at one another wordlessly. For how long, I didn't know. Before I knew it, the rain had stopped. We're going to save her. Okay. I can finish my thought here now with the eye thing. So, it's a really interesting thing on why that works. Theoretically. So, when you have an injury and you're trying to... Now, I'm not saying 100% this is how this works and why this works like this. When you have an injury and you're still using that injured part, so in this case, like an eye, you're using your injured eye and your good eye, and your brain is actively using that injured eye, it makes it harder for you to use both at the same time. So it would affect things like your depth perception and make it just harder for you to do things. Whereas if you just stopped using it, especially when you're younger, the plasticity of your brain just learns to compensate for not having that eye, and your other eye that still functions gets better at compensating to just do what both would do. It's not perfect, but it's better than having to use both, especially when one is injured. I'm not explaining that really well. It is like deep. It is psychological theory that does work. That covering up an injured eye that maybe can't be repaired and just letting the good eye would work better than using a damaged eye, and a good eye would make both less conducive. I'm probably not explaining that really well because I don't have like my psychology books on my neuropsychology book here in front of me to explain that. But yeah, theoretically that does make sense as to how he explained that. So in the game, theoretically, even that would make sense the way he was talking about that. If you have a bad eye, sometimes it just works better to cover it up. And obviously, the best thing you could do would be to get it treated. Barring that, if you can't get it treated, the damage is just going to progress and get worse. it would just be to could just be to the benefit for your brain plasticity, especially when you're younger, to just cover it and allow your other eye and your brain to retrain and compensate and just use the one eye. Psychological facts with Pinker NeonNova tonight. I can't remember the theory of it off the top of my head right now, what it's called, but it does have to do with like neuroplasticity of your brain and your neural pathways and stuff like that, and it's really cool. Oh, I should write that down and maybe explain that better. I'm going to forget why I'm writing this shorthand on my notepad here later. I'm going to look at it tomorrow and be like, why did I write down psychological neuroplasticity? Be like, why did I write that randomly on this notepad? Someone remind me. No one's going to remind me. And sometimes I literally just say, someone remind me to say this thing. Or remind me of this thing I said to remind myself. Anyways, I have a degree in psychology. I'm going to take a quick break because I need to go get more water. I will be right back. I'm back. I'm done being a nerd about psychology for a bit. Let's play more PioFiore. Yeah. I already saved. Oh. Oh, so you returned. We had returned to the manor, and Oliver welcomed us, looking grim. Have you discovered anything new? Yes, Roberto. The officer was able to give us some information. Gail and I summed up what we discussed with Roberto before. Have you learned of any news, Oliver? He nodded lightly, before looking towards Oliver, or Gil. Gilbert, do you remember the deal right before you were arrested? Of course. It was a big one. I'd never forget it. Is it that incident? The one we discussed the night after I came to the Visconti? That one. Right after the deal, the other party, Laue, was arrested in Rome. Huh? And supposedly, they searched his trunk to find stacks of counterfeit money inside. Then, the military police charged Gil just because he made a deal with him? Right. It seems they followed the chain backwards. But Loe can't be the culprit. He was just a patsy, huh? I agree. He was a disposable pawn. Gil looked down, deep in thought, then sighed. We checked his background before the deal. There was nothing suspicious. You know that. That's true. He wasn't connected to any known criminal organizations. However, I looked into him once more, down to his personal affairs. There was something I discovered. That man seemed to have a gambling addiction. He lost a considerable amount of money. I looked into every casino he visited too, and of course amongst them was the casino here in Berlin. Ah. Meanwhile, understood. Others. You did it on purpose, Marco. Hmm? What are you talking about? I wasn't certain what you wanted when you told me to patrol along the beach side. But you wanted me to bump into Gilbert Redford, didn't you? Oh, you bumped into him? By coincidence. An addict was causing trouble, and Redford was subduing him. So after making the arrest, I thanked him on behalf of the police. For once. I see. That sounds like Gilbert. Marco, when I asked why you were trying so hard to investigate for him, you told me. You said, "You'll understand someday." Back then, I wondered why you would go to the trouble. I think now I understand a little, but only a little. Oh, Roberto, you're going soft. How cute. You little tsundere bitch. I see. Well, that is good news. Ah. As if we needed another reason to suspect the casino. Gil spoke with a fearless grin on his face. There was ambition in his eyes. Ugh. I'm having a cough today, you guys. Oh, water. I spent the day vaguely absorbed in thought, doing nothing in particular. I couldn't help but remember that day. I was being selfish. I knew it would only trouble you, but I wanted you to hear it. I've never told anyone that story before, not even those closest to me. Do you know why I told you? I've been feeling this way for a while now. I know I'm acting strange, but whenever I'm alone, I keep thinking about Gil. What's more, I wasn't able to act the same way I used to around him anymore. I was sitting at the breakfast table. Hey, Pink. About Krita. Did anything catch your eye when we visited yesterday? Huh? Oh, yes. I did feel there was something strange, but it was normal. Huh? Oh, Oh, what do you think, Oliver? Did you notice anything different? No, not exactly. Thanks to someone walking around outside every day, I have a great deal of paperwork to tend to. Even though I'm spread thin as it is with the trial, I haven't been outside for 3 days.
Oh, I see. Had I stepped on a landmine? I couldn't help but react awkwardly towards Oliver's response. I reached out for my glass, hoping a sip of water would calm me down. Oh no, I can barely look at Gil in the eye. What's the matter? Do you feel sick? No, I feel fine. I must still be half asleep. Maybe you've been pushing yourself too hard. You've been out and about every day lately. Why don't you rest inside today? In response, no, I want to go out. We don't have much time before the trial. We have to resolve the case as soon as possible.
Are you that worried about me?
Gil cocked his head, and I felt my heart jump. I looked down, but spoke honestly. Yes, I mean, if you were arrested, I'd be very sad. Oh, look at his fucking smile. God damn it. Stop being so cute, sir. You're the reason we're having a heart attack. It felt like Gil smiled a little. I wanted to see his face, but I couldn't muster the courage to look up at him.
You rest in the manor today. I'll go check on Krita on my own.
Okay. Although I felt bad, I nodded at Gil's concern. After the meal, I went to wash the dishes. Just then, I heard Gil call out to me in a troubled voice.
I always tell you, you're my guest. You don't have to do that.
But it's the least I can do to help. You've taken such good care of me. I answered with gratitude, although I still couldn't look him in the eye. Just then, I suddenly slipped on a napkin that had been dropped on the floor. I lost my balance and was about to fall when Gil grabbed me. Give me a CG. Oh. The moment I realized Gil's face was so close to mine, I couldn't speak. I could feel the warmth from his arm around me, and my heart pounded in my chest.
Are you okay, Pink?
Yes, thank you. He knew I was a bit shaken and gave me a warm smile to calm me down.
Is your leg alright? Did you hurt it?
I'm fine. I'm not hurt anywhere. I was so embarrassed in the position we were in and struggled to separate from him immediately. However, Gil had a tight grip on me and wouldn't let me go.
Are you sure? Don't overdo it. You don't seem in good shape today.
I'm really fine. I felt my cheeks burning at the sound of his voice in my ear. Stop seducing me, sir. You can let go now, Gil. My voice came out slightly rattled, and Gil sighed next to my ear as if he understood.
Right. Well, I guess I can't hold on to you forever, unfortunately.
Shut the fuck up, sir! How dare you! He whispered in a voice that only I could hear, and my heart pounded even faster. Oh my god, they even have the heart pounding sound effect.
Finally, he loosened his hold on me, and I took a step back, sighing with relief. Gil's eyes were gentle, yet I saw heat in his gaze as he looked at me. I didn't have a choice just now. Forgive me. You're not forgiven. You know exactly what you're doing to me, sir. Stop it. You and your slutty little unbuttoned vest and your cleavage. But from now on, I'll try my best not to touch a lady out of the blue. Gilbert, do you have a moment? I need to ask you something about the jury. Yeah, coming. I did so good, guys. An hour and 46 minutes before I fucking giggled at it. I did so good today. Gil answered Oliver and walked back towards the lounge. I was grateful to Gil, but when he was so close, I felt as though I was losing my mind. But from now on, I'll try my best not to touch a lady out of the blue. For some reason, I felt a pain in my heart. Are you moving around in your little cave, baby? Oh, so cute. So cute. Am I sad about that? Gail's smile wouldn't leave my mind. I couldn't behave normally around him, but the thought of him distancing himself from me now on made me feel lonely. I returned to my room with my heart still aching. I have nothing to do. Thanks to Gil's consideration, I had today off, but with all this freedom, I had nothing to do. Although I wanted to rest, I didn't feel sleepy, probably because I wasn't sick. I wonder where Gil is right now. Could he be near Nina's shop? Oh. Once again, I let my guard down a little, and thoughts of Gil flooded my mind. In an effort to take my mind off of him, I decided to spend some time reading a book. The book that Oliver lent me the other day was interesting, and before I knew it, I was completely absorbed. I was surprised when I looked up and checked the time. What? It's past noon already? I wasn't very hungry, but I did feel a bit thirsty. It's a little cold today, so maybe I can make a cafe latte? Oh, I should have some coffee. No, I shouldn't. No, I should not have coffee tonight. I left my room with that thought in mind. After preparing it in the kitchen, I took it with me into the lounge. How rare. No one's around. I didn't see Leo either. His job was to guard me, so he should be somewhere in the manor, but perhaps he was out. And Gil's not home yet either. A part of me felt relieved, not having to face him, but suddenly I felt really lonely. Why am I feeling like this? I already knew. I think I have... I gripped the mug tightly. I'm so selfish. I let out a sigh and sat down on the sofa. As I drank, I felt warmth spread throughout my body and melt away my tension. It's cold outside, so once Gale comes back, maybe I can make him something hot to drink. Maybe it's because I finally understood my true feelings after being confused for so long. With my body warm and my mind at ease, a peaceful drowsiness came over me. No, I can't sleep here. I need to return to my room. For the past few days, I had been thinking of Gil so much I could hardly sleep. I was struggling to fight off my drowsiness. Just for a minute. I somehow managed to place my mug on the table, and I slowly closed my eyes. And that's when Yang came to kidnap me and take me away forever. There was nothing different about Krita. The people were walking around, energetic, bright, and full of smiles. Relieved, I returned to the manor and headed to the lounge as usual. I looked around the empty lounge and remembered. Come to think of it, Oliver asked my men to take care of some things. When my eyes reached the sofa, I was suddenly startled. For some reason, Pink was lying across it. Wait, was she really feeling sick? I thought she was. I quietly went over to the sofa and spoke. Pink, are you okay? Pink was sleeping peacefully. What? Is she just sleeping? She didn't seem to have fainted or anything. After my initial relief, I couldn't help but feel a little irritated. Really, you shouldn't be sleeping here. God knows who will walk in. I got down on my knees and peered into her peaceful face. We get to see how pretty I am. Hi, Gil. The sunlight peered in through the window, and her golden hair glowed like sweet honey. She moved ever so slightly, and her hair fell over her cheeks. So pretty. Before I knew it, I found myself touching her hair. I can't help it. I recalled how Pink was acting in the morning. She was trying so hard to act like her usual self, and I thought it was adorable. On the other hand, it was bittersweet, and I felt like I was suffocating. I thought I had a pretty thick skin when it came to love, but seeing her innocent sleeping face, I sighed. I'm sorry. I don't think I can last much longer. Hurry up and wake up, Pink. I whispered in a hoarse voice. I was praying for her to wake up, but continued to watch her sleep until then. It wasn't easy to do, but I couldn't get myself to walk away. There was no way I'd let anyone else see her sleeping like this. Eventually, she woke up. Noticing me beside her, she panicked, turning bright red. Honestly, I was really happy that no one else was able to see her sleeping face. So sweet. It was extremely cold in the morning, and I sensed that winter was one step closer. I woke up and opened the window in my room to let the crisp air in. As I got ready, I thought about the incident. It's been almost 2 months since Gil was arrested. Little by little, I could feel that we were getting closer to the true culprit. But we were still unable to see the full picture. The church gave us 3 months. We don't have much time left. Not only that, Gil's trial was before then. Considering how little time we had left, I couldn't help but feel a sense of panic. What if we don't make it in time? I shook my head to shake off the anxiety, deciding to leave the room to clear my head. Oh. When I got to the hallway, I saw Gil. My eyes grew wide at the unexpected encounter. Gil looked surprised for a second, but then immediately smiled with warm eyes. Buongiorno. Let's make today another good one. Yes. All I did was respond, but that alone made me happy. Hearing Gil's voice made all my worries fade away. Boss and miss, can I have a moment? Huh? Some dirty kid approached me outside, asking if a woman from the church was here. Do you know who he could be? He told me to tell either the woman or Gil. Could it be Luca? Oh, hey. I came to sell you some information today. It's Strano's. Seeing Luca for the first time in a while, it was clear at first glance that he'd gotten very pale. Oh, my baby! I swear to God, if he dies in this route, I will quit this game immediately. No more. Not in the true route. Not in the true route. Wait, Luca, you don't look so good. See, your hands are so cold. I couldn't help but take his hands in mine. Huh? No, this is normal. Just come inside. We'll talk then. Huh? Hey, are you sure someone like me can go inside? Of course. Besides, I won this place fair and square. I say you can come in. What? I don't wanna. I mean, a building this big, I won't feel comfortable. Hurry up. And Krita, my orders are final. Gil put his arm around Luca's shoulders and forced him to go inside. My tiny baby boy. I wonder if he's okay. I swiftly followed after them. I'm gonna keep this kid. Gil, you, me, and Oliver are getting married and we're adopting this child. End of discussion. Lucas seemed restless, looking around the room as if everything were a rare sight. Luca, if you can, eat a little. I offered him hot lemonade with honey and an almond biscotti. Thanks. Luca timidly nodded and slowly sipped the lemonade. I watched him for a while. I noticed that Luca wasn't touching the snack I had given him. I wonder if he dislikes nuts. So, about what I was saying. Right. Give it to me, Luca. Remember how I told you there are more grown-ups with money in Strano? Yes, I remember. I remembered it well. It was the day that Luca found the invitation with the $10 bill. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like business is good lately. Lots of people in Strano have money now. But when you have something good, no one wants to tell everyone, you know? That's why no one tells you how they make it. Well, I'm gonna make my own money then. They started to look like they had even more money. It must have been one hell of a gig. Then I wondered what kind of jobs they had, so I followed them. Did you know there's a factory outside of Strano? A factory? Yeah, that's right, there is. The one in the forest? It's been abandoned for a while, though. These days, on account of the wolves, just going near it is risky. I thought so too. Well, I thought so too, but all the adults were walking in there. I couldn't get in close enough to see what was inside, so I just walked around it. Then I found this back near the furnace. This is. What Lucas showed us was a $10 bill that was half burnt. Looking closely, you could see the print was slightly faded. Last time you guys saw that $10 bill, your faces changed. So I figured it might have something to do with that. Well done, Luca. Gil smiled widely and patted Luca on the head, then turned to give orders to his men. Hey, go look into the old factory outside of Strano. Got it, boss. His men began to move quickly. Things seemed to be taking a huge turn, and I felt my heart leap. Just then, my baby! Luca? Luca collapsed onto the floor, and I rushed to get him up. It seemed like his cold had suddenly turned into a fever. He's burning up. Gil, please, call for a doctor immediately. Got it. I swear to God, game. Luca was sleeping, but his rest was disturbed by painful coughs from time to time. Gil called for a doctor to examine Luca, but game? The doctor said there was a high chance it was malaria. A highly infectious disease that is widespread across tropical and subtropical regions. Fevers from malaria lower relatively quickly, but are often followed by continued and intermittent rising fevers. His fever would rise and fall in the coming days, and recovery would depend on whether or not he had enough strength to make it through. Luca. Before I knew it, the sun had set. I looked out the window and squeezed the wet towel before wiping Luca's brow. Luca, are you awake? Are you okay? Are you in any pain? Luca nodded slightly. Seeing him react, I felt a little relieved and breathed a sigh. Hey, you like him, don't you? What? I'm right, aren't I? I figured as much. Shh, Luca, focus on yourself. Earlier, when he seemed happy, you were happy too. You should hurry up and tell him. Cover your fucking mouth. I poured a pitcher of water into a glass. I made him drink it slowly, and Luca's cough calmed down a little. I did a lot. There's a lot I wanted to say and didn't. There's so much. Luca? Luca continued on painfully, and before I knew it, I was gripping his hand. If I die, I want you to give the money I made today to my mother. Can you take it to her? You have a mom? Not anymore. I mean, I'm your mother now. She's really useless trash, but even so, she's my family. Tell Gil. Okay, I understand. But don't worry, Luca. You're going to get better. I sure hope so. I stroked Luca's hair. After a little while, Luca seemed to feel at ease and fell back asleep. Come in. It's me. How's Luca? Has he slept? He seems to be in pain, but I think he'll be fine. The medicine seems to be working. What about his fever? It went down a little. I'm so glad Luca came today. The doctor said if he was any later, he may not have made it. I'm sure Luca will be fine. When he's all better, let's give him as much good food as he can eat. Yeah. It's almost time for the meeting. What do you want to do? Stay with Luca? Gil was being considerate of my feelings, and after a moment of thought, I spoke. No, I'm coming along. There's not much I can do for Luca here. I'm really worried about him, but I have to focus on what I can do. I see. You sure are strong. My baby child. I'm gonna keep him. The three bosses gathered at the church late at night, along with Nicola and Orlok. So is the investigation progressing? There's not much time before the deadline. Shut up, Orlok! Not to mention that the trial is in 3 days. I suppose we can wait outside the area to witness Redford's brilliant victory. You just want him to lose so you can take me away. Do you honestly think it'll go well? We'll do what we can. I have excellent men who have been working with no sleep. Though Gil responded brightly, his expression turned serious after a moment. But I do also feel like we're at a standstill. I want to organize all the information. There may be new things we can see. They all seemed to be on the same page and gave a nod. First of all, $10 counterfeits are circulating mainly around Verlone. The true culprit somehow caused Gale to get arrested. These were the facts we already knew. I need to save. Just in case I make a wrong decision here. And then I can just reload this. Did we manage to unearth why they decided to pin this on Gilbert? Yeah, the Visconti often does business with America. Within the Berlone Mafia, we're the ones with the most contact with the dollar. In order to have the counterfeits circulated effectively, you need a big organization like the Visconti to manage distribution. Once they crush the Visconti and steal their clientele, they can move money again once things die down. That's the theory. I see. The bills are crafted so intricately that it's hard to tell that they're counterfeit. Even after the truth comes to light, there are plenty of people who would be fooled. Indeed, the Laoshu rarely do business in the dollar, but it happens on occasion. However, prior to Redford's arrest, I had never heard any indication of counterfeits being traded in the region. Same goes for the Falzone. That means they've managed to deceive us all. If that's the case, how did the military police even discover the counterfeit money? It does seem odd that they would be the first to realize its true value before we did. Before I got arrested, they arrested a guy that the Visconti made a deal with. He had a ton of these bills in his possession. That's when its existence was revealed. But why exactly would they have doubted its genuineness? They can't have noticed it at first glance. I believe you're aware there aren't many people in the general public who can lie like you and I can. Possessing counterfeit money alone is shady. Getting arrested at that time is likely it's likely they were feeling nervous about it. Or maybe they behaved that way on purpose. Huh? The man was a big-time gambler. He had ties with the Berlone casino. I see. So it is possible that the deal itself was carried out as a bait to trap Gilbert. And about her. Gil glanced at me, then spoke for everyone to hear. Dante told me that the Key Maiden's life is often in danger. If the enemy is after Berlone as a whole, in order to stop the Falzone from moving, they'd want to keep the Key Maiden hostage. But no one is after me. At least, not since I've been with the Visconti has anything happened to me. Yeah, no one's been moving to catch you. I have been observing as well. There has been no suspicious activity. It seems that the true culprit may not have learned the Key Maiden's value. If the Falzone isn't involved in their goals, there'd be no need to investigate us. Perhaps it was needless anxiety on my part. It feels like this incident was thought out and planned very carefully. Before the culprit decided on a target, they would have investigated all three families. They targeted the Visconti on the basis that they used the dollar the most. So was the true culprit not able to uncover the history of the Falzone? But we should still be careful. That being said, I'm going to continue protecting her at the Visconti's. Gil looked at me, speaking with conviction, then changed to another topic. Oh, right. Yang was looking into the guy who created the counterfeit plates, right? Did you find out anything new? I believe I mentioned that the Li Huanghu were providing them with financial support. Yes. Yang tapped his pipe as if refreshing his memory, and his golden eyes quietly glimmered. The original was already sent to Europe. The production site isn't in China. Then that means hitting the Li Huanghu would be pointless. Yes, pointless indeed. Even if the Li Huanghu gives up, so long as they have the original, another sponsor can be found. Especially in America. The mafia in Chicago would salivate all over it. Besides, hitting the Li Huanghu is unrealistic. Their scale far exceeds the mafia in this town. What is it? Is something bothering you? Ah, water. I timidly spoke up. I apologize if I say something strange. I was just wondering why the true culprit would choose the Li Huanghu. Was it because the person who made the plate was Chinese? If that were the case... You're saying it's odd that they asked for Lao Shu's parent organization for financial support, given their ties to the Lao Shu. Yes, there's no way they wouldn't have known their relationship, right? Right. The person behind this whole scheme wouldn't be so reckless. Maybe the culprit wasn't anticipating that the Li Huanghu would cut off the Lao Shu. Perhaps what they really wanted was a partnership with the Lao Shu through the Li Huanghu. That would make sense. They'd be in cooperation with an organization at odds with the rest of our loan. If the situation were a little bit different, the Lao Shu could have easily been our enemies. Nicola's hypothesis seemed to make sense. Yang, what do you make of all this? I say, there was a large chance we would have declined your proposal to cooperate. Even if the Lao Shu were a neutral entity, uninvolved in the contentious rivalry of the Berlin Mafia, if it were clear that the Li Huanghu were financially supporting the production of the counterfeit money, what would we do? Well, obviously, the Lao Shu would take the Li Huanghu's money and chop off the enemy's head at the same time. At least, that's what I think. If I were in their position, I'd do the same. The true culprit may have secretly hoped we would battle and destroy one another. I see. They thought that far ahead and approached the Li Huanghu to make a deal. Then their biggest miscalculation was in the predicting Yang's next move. They couldn't anticipate his partnership with us. He has a point there. Nevertheless, unless we find the original plate, or destroy the manufacturing facility, this situation will never end. We could put an end to this if that were possible, but unfortunately, we don't know where the counterfeits are being produced. I looked over at Gil, and he nodded slightly, putting his hand in his pocket. Take a look at this. We found this at an old factory on the outskirts of Strono. We're looking into it, but I'm pretty confident this is the place. Can't see the forest for the trees, huh? Who would have thought it'd be right here in town? I feel like the air just changed. Within the icy cold church, it felt like a fire had just been lit. The casino invited a member of the currency union to participate in an obvious gambling charade. He seemed to know the existence of the counterfeit money. Right. I remember he even jokingly asked for lyra instead of dollars. Then, the staff at the casino, even the director, are all enemies, it seems. I don't know how much they knew, or if they were even aware, but someone in the casino is definitely the enemy. And if the currency union is involved, then the Italian government and other bureaucrats may be behind everything. That's a big problem. Yang! I love him. He looks so menacing. If the counterfeits are widely distributed, regardless of its previous stability, the dollar would become less valuable. If that happens, the currency in each European country would raise in value. Our country would benefit from the counterfeits circulating. My brows furrowed with mixed feelings, and Dante spoke. While the reasoning is sound, the reality is drawing a picture that's slightly different. What do you mean, Dante? I looked into the existence of the currency union once again. Huh? But the information returned wasn't any different. The currency union hasn't functioned since the Great War. Although they haven't officially disbanded, they don't have any type of presence. Then, is someone quietly moving the currency union? I think so. Our enemy isn't the country itself, though there's a chance that multiple countries are involved. No more, no less, huh? Dante nodded and looked at Gil. Earlier, you claimed you were targeted due to your use of the dollar in dealing with other organizations. But I find it odd that specific information regarding your deals has been leaked. Huh? The point he questioned was something I hadn't thought of at all. Whether or not your partners are American, it's just as likely that you could deal in lyra or pounds. As the boss of the Falzone, I myself couldn't know the list of people with whom the Visconti are doing business. However, the culprit is clearly moving with some form of definitive proof that the Visconti trades in dollars. That makes it simple. Someone within the Visconti is leaking information. That's impossible. Yang seemed to be enjoying this, but Gil cut him off without hesitation. Clearly. Yang shrugged his shoulders and affirmed. Gil blinked in confusion. You sure are backing off easy. Listen until the end. I'm not saying that I'm questioning those close to you. Let's imagine someone in the Visconti wanted to be at the top and decided to get rid of Redford. In choosing this way of going about it, not only would Redford go under, but so would the entire Visconti. It would be pointless. That's true. Yang's eyes narrowed, and he continued quietly. In this town, there must be someone involved in deals with more than adequate information. Hearing that, Gil's eyes grew wide. The director. Oh. The director personally escorted every single person into that room. The other day, when Orlok charged into our first meeting, the director appeared right away. Does that mean the director is always near the room during meetings? It's likely he listened to everything. The Berlone Mafia has had a long-standing relationship with the casino. That's why we never looked into them further. Those who have been assigned as director have always looked the other way. But if he took that position for a reason, in order to see what we were doing, Dante spoke with an expression more severe than usual. A government official involved in this scheme would need a commander in Berlone. I agree. They are producing counterfeits in this town, after all. Then, are you saying the commander is the director? It may be rather early to be sure, but considering the situation, it is a fitting role. It would be easy to distribute counterfeit bills through winning payouts. Silence fell over the church. Everyone seemed to be convinced of the answer in their minds. Eventually, Orlok looked around and spoke up. Then, what will you do from here? If there's anything to be done, I will cooperate. Right. I have an idea. Gil had the mischievous smile of a trickster. Yeah, he did. Let's get him, baby. Get your Chicago typewriter on one arm and me on the other. After the meeting, we returned to the Visconti Manor, and I immediately went to see Luca. Luca? I waited for an answer, but I didn't get one. I silently walked towards the bed. Luca seemed to be in pain as he breathed, but it looked like he had finally fallen asleep. Luca! Luca had to be the one to fight the sickness. There was nothing I could do for him, but I wanted to help ease his pain, even a little. I wiped the beads of sweat from his forehead with a damp towel. Luca seemed to have calmed down a little.
I figured that I could take care of what I needed to, so I quietly left the room. Mm, is there someone in the lounge at this late hour? I saw a light through the gap in the door and softly pushed it open. Gil was inside. He had poured himself an amber drink and was slowly swirling it around. I remember seeing Gil drink alone like this in the past. Back then, I remember he took me out on a stroll because I couldn't fall asleep. Now he's going to take me into his lap because I can't fall asleep. But tonight, surprisingly, the air that surrounded Gil seemed to be heavier than usual, despite seeing progress in our investigation. I had a feeling I knew why. Gil, are you worried about Luca? Mm. I had money sent to his home. I wish I caught on earlier. I mean, we saw Luca so many times. I feel the same way. Gil's eyes looked down, and he sighed sadly. I always feel bad when a kid dies. We don't know for sure that'll happen. Luca's doing a good job. He's fighting even now. Yeah, you're right. He reminds me of me in my childhood. Maybe even smarter than I was. That's why we're gonna keep him, right? He did a good job. Thanks to him, we have a lead. So for Luca's sake, we're gonna resolve this situation. We're going to win the trial. Yes, I'm sure Luca will be happy to hear it. I'd like a sip as well. Do you mind? I slowly approached him and sat down beside him. Yeah, sure. Gil's eyes grew wide in surprise, but he handed the glass over to me. Give me your amaretto. I accepted it with both hands and took a sip. As I returned the glass to him, I spoke slowly. I often feel regrets. I always tell myself, if only I could have done more. I visit Serrano often and meet children who have no place to go. I always try my best to do something about it, but there were many times I was too late. Each time I regret it and tell myself I'm going to do better the next time, but... Right. I've experienced that feeling many times. I'm sure you've witnessed many moments when people lost their lives. Babies! Of course, you're a mafia boss, but still. You're not used to people's deaths because you don't take life lightly. You've suffered, just like you are now. You suffer, just like you are now. As I slowly voiced what was on my mind, I felt like I found my own answer. I couldn't just leave Gil behind, drinking alone like this. I didn't want to see pain in his eyes. You see, I've been thinking for a while now. What? I think I have feelings for you. Yes! But it hurts because it's only chapter 6. It's gonna get worse, guys. As I looked into Gil's eyes, I saw them widen. You saved me. You brought me here. Walking through Krita with you, visiting different places.
It was really fun, and it made me very happy to see how much you care for the people of Berlin and the town itself. I love this town too. I thought that you were such a wonderful person. I realized I respected you. But it's different now. Of course, I still think that of you. Before I knew it, I had fallen for you as a person. I awkwardly finished expressing how I felt, and Gil gave such a warm and kind smile. You finally noticed. Shut the fuck up, sir. Huh? I knew that you were becoming more aware of me. I didn't realize it was so obvious. As I froze in place, Gil looked at me lovingly. So you saw through it all? You react so adorably. But you didn't seem to know why. So I thought I'd wait until you realized your feelings. Besides, I had already become aware of you much sooner than that. God damn you, sir. He said, I'm a respectable king. And we love that of him. What? When I first took you in, I just thought of you as my responsibility. But then, you became more than just a responsibility. I came to a point of wanting to protect you of my own volition. Gil shrugged a little, looking somewhat shy as he squinted his eyes. Give me that cute fucking blush! I'm glad you realized it, though. I was getting tired of waiting. I'm sorry for making you wait. I felt my face burning and apologized as Gil laughed. It's fine. I wanted you to realize on your own. Gil reached out for my cheeks. I couldn't look away as he drew closer. His irises were a deep pomegranate color. Just before our lips touched, I spoke once again. I really like you, Gil. Yeah, me too. I really like you, Pink. I saw his smile deepen as he accepted my feelings. I could feel his warmth through his lips. His kiss was so gentle I could tell how much he cared for me. I felt as if I were touching the clouds. It was ticklish and dreamlike. My heart was so full of love, and just when I felt I wanted a little more. His lips slowly parted from mine, and our eyes met again. Gil whispered in a low voice, I don't plan on rushing things since you've just realized your feelings, but I'm serious about you, and I want you to take us seriously too. Once this is all over, then can I be closer to you? Yes. Huh? My feelings for you can't be communicated through just a kiss. I understood what Gil meant and nodded lightly. When everything was settled, the promise I made with Gil would guide us into the future. But for now, the trial loomed over us as it drew near. So cute, so cute, so cute. What a good confession scene. After submitting the documents to the court, I stepped outside a bar in front of the police station. Nicola noticed me downing the rest of his espresso before coming outside. Right on time. Same to you. Gilbert's trial was tomorrow. Nicola and I arranged to meet here in order to share the situation with the foul zone. We walked together down the street. Then, let's get straight to the point since we're both busy. It would benefit us both. We won't be attending the hearing tomorrow. We'll leave the rest up to you. Naturally, any unnecessary commotion would cause our enemies to become suspicious. I made a copy of the documents. I can't give them to you, but you can review them here. Well, I'm impressed you've gathered all this information. The trial should be no problem. I'll also make a good report to Dante. I'd never want you as my enemy. If you were part of the Visconti, my job would be much easier. Whenever the foul zone contacted the Visconti, Nicola usually acted as the intermediary. Being the liaison between the other families was a very important and delicate role. Normally, it was forbidden for any members of the opposing families to meet one-on-one. But they had a tacit understanding that went unspoken for it to be allowed under certain circumstances. Best of luck to you. Buona notte. Buona notte, Oliver. Anche ete. Nicola handed back the folder to me. Our parting was very simple as always, especially because I was not a woman. Nicola didn't try to flirt with or make out with me because I wasn't his type. I turned and went back to Krita. I missed that because I was laughing at my own joke. I watched him walk towards Falce, and I turned around to return to Krita. I quickly walked through the empty streets. So this concludes the job for tonight. I think I have enough time to do a final check over the documents, thankfully. You're Oliver Haas. What? I turned around and saw a man standing in the shadows, dressed in black. I felt an alarm ringing inside my head. I took off running with all my might. I heard gunshots fire behind me. What the? Who is trying to kill my other husband? Luckily, none had hit me yet. I just needed to reach a bright street. I won't let you get away. I heard footsteps running after me. Schmitze. I don't think I can outrun him. That's Scheiße. German derogatory slang. It looks different when it doesn't have when the S is spelled out instead of being I don't remember what the letter's called, but the German double S. But if I'm not there at the trial tomorrow, Gilbert's chances of losing is higher. I can't die here. That's not Oliver's voice. But before I could get to the major street, oof, the man finally caught up and yanked my collar from behind. Bastard, making us work for it. Yeah, Oliver's a tease. He seemed to want to pin me down, so I punched and kicked and yelled loudly. Let me go. Somebody call police. Casa, shut up. Ugh. He gave a relentless blow, and I felt myself lose my breath. I crumpled onto the ground, and the men descended upon me without mercy. Just then, "Hey, what are you doing there? Help! We're the police. Cops." Ugh. The men clicked their tongues, annoyed, and swiftly ran off into the night. "Get him, Roberto." "Of course." "Hey, are you okay? Wait, Oliver, is that you?" "Yeah, you saved me, Marco." Being a lawyer, I often visited the police station. Luckily for me, Marco appeared. He was a detective I was familiar with. "That's a pretty bad injury. Hey, have you been shot?" "Oh, was I? I was so focused on running, I didn't notice." Hey, you're bleeding. You need to get to the hospital." "No, I feel pain, but both my hands and feet can move. For now, I need to get back to the manor." It was then I thought of one possibility. I didn't know what the men who attacked me were after, but if it had something to do with the trial. I showed the documents to Nicola as well. He may also be under attack. Crap. Marco. Nicola. The night in Felce was silent, with no trace of any commotion. It doesn't seem like anything's happened. I was the only one who got attacked. I felt relieved, finding out that I hadn't gotten him involved. "Marco, what's the matter?" "Look down, Oliver. The color doesn't stand out in the dark." This is... A dark shadow spread out under my feet. Looking closely, it appeared to be red. Nearby was a gun. This Beretta. A pistol used by Nicola, made by an Italian company. No! Nicola! Seems like we didn't make it in time. Marco! We turned towards us and Roberto was running we turned around and Roberto was running towards us out of breath. "I've been looking for you. Jeez. You disappeared without saying anything." "Sorry, Roberto. We were in a rush. What happened to the men?" "There was a car parked in the back. They got away." "I see." Sorry, Roberto, but take Oliver back to the Visconti place. But first, drop by the station and take a few guys with you, once you're good at fighting." "Understood. What are you going to do, Marco?" "I need to tell the news to Dante." "No!" The drama. It's so bad. It's so bad. Why are they hurting? Why are they beating on my man? My other man? I don't... "Oliver, what happened to you?" Late that night, Oliver returned home to the manor, with Roberto supporting him. He looked gravely injured. Aside from Roberto, there were a few other officers accompanying them. Actually, you know what? We're going to stop there for tonight. I'm having a hard time reading. So we will just.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time, YouTube. Goodbye.